Hello, my name is Christian Gatta, and I'm going to conduct an informative speech, and I would like to introduce you to my audience. I have my wonderful Aunt Dory, my lovely grandmother, and my beautiful wife. And today I'm going to inform them about the 25th President of the United States. And can anybody direct me to who this individual is?
Yeah, William McKinley.
William McKinley, good job, grandmother. He's the 25th President of the United States. And he was actually born in Niles, Ohio on January 29th, 1843. He only stayed shortly, for when he was 9, the family moved to Poland, Ohio, because his father, William McKinley Sr., was a strong believer in a good foundation of an education. So Poland was a little bit progressive city at the time, and it housed a school that went up to 12th grade, which was Poland Union Academy. William McKinley then graduated from Poland Union Academy, which is now today is Poland Seminary High School, and then he went on to college. He attended Allegheny College in Meadville, Pennsylvania. Well, unfortunately, he developed some sort of disorder or tics, according to Patricia Scaramuzzi from the Niles McKinley Memorial Museum, which she is the curator of collections. Now, in 1861, though, William McKinley then enlisted into the Union Army because of the outbreak of the Civil War, and he enlisted as a private. Now, do you need to sneeze, grandmother? And now, I apologize, but now William McKinley then showed such bravery and gallantry throughout the war and actually shown his leadership in the Battle of Antietam, where he was a commissary sergeant. Now, what a commissary sergeant does is an individual who provides the provisions and the necessary needs for the soldiers. Now, he noticed that the soldiers were coming off the front lines and they were weary and hungry. Well, according to Zachary Kent, the Battle of Antietam really started late in the night, at 2 a.m. in the morning, actually. So it was really late, and he noticed this. Well, William McKinley actually disobeyed his orders, and he went across enemy ranks and brought the supplies to his men. Well, usually when you disobey your orders in the military, you get court-martialed and you get punished. Well, this was not the case for William McKinley, and he was actually promoted to the second lieutenant. Well, he continued to show such leadership and bravery throughout the Civil War that he actually made it to a major. So he enlisted as a private and made it all the way to a major, and even gained notice, according to Robin Doak, that Abraham Lincoln actually gave him the honorary title of a brevet. So he was brevet major by the end of the war, which is very lovely. And then he wanted to pursue a different career. His mother always wanted him to become a Methodist priest, but he desired something different. So he went into a legal career. And now how you would obtain this at that time is you either practice under a judge or a lawyer, or you attended school. Well, he did both, which is very fascinating, and he did it in 2 years' time. And then eventually, he moved from Albany, New York, where he gained his lawyership. He moved from Albany then to Canton, Ohio, where his sisters were already predominant school teachers at that time. Now, William McKinley, let's go back, had such a nice political career. He was actually a lawyer at a bank first, and then from there he became Stark County prosecutor, and then he actually served 7 successful terms as a congressman. On his 7th term, however, he was redistricted, and he was kicked out of the zone. And but at this point, he was such a outstanding individual, and the people really tend to like him because he was a war hero and he really helped the people out. And according to Patricia Scaramuzzi, he wanted to be something bigger, so he ran for the governor of Ohio, and he served 2 successful terms as well. And under his term of governor of Ohio, he really implemented, he was always a firm believer on a tariff. He believed that the American people who produces these goods should get the goods, I guess, the money back to them, and they should keep their economy strong, which he helped for the little people. Now, he was so successful as governor, he gained the attention of Mark Hanna, which was a Republican Party leader at that time, which, to let you all know, the Republican Party of the 1800s, early 1900s, mirrors more the Democratic Party of today. So they're more for the working class at that time as well, which is a big misconception on today. Now, McKinley was such a successful governor, and he gathered the attention of Mark Hanna. He's the one that funded him and pushed McKinley into his presidency. So in 1896, William McKinley ran for president against Williams Jennings Bryan. Williams Jennings Bryan supported the silver standard, while McKinley actually supported the tariff and the gold standard. Well, he ended up winning. And now under McKinley's first administration was this little war, which is more of a presidential conflict because it was never declared through Congress, was the Spanish-American War. At first, McKinley was very hesitant on going to war with Spain. He did not feel that we were militarily ready. However, on April 25th, 1898, we engaged war with Spain. And we ended up gathering Guam, Puerto Rico, the Philippine Islands, and we liberated Cuba. Now, under this, the war only lasted for 100 days. So it was a little bit more than 3 months. But we concluded, and after the end of the war, this was the first time it showed Americans' dominance, and the world recognized America as the superpower, as what we are today. Also, under his first administration, he enacted what is called the open trade policy. Now, we had such a large amount of surplus goods in America at that time that we needed to start trading. Well, the Monroe Doctrine really prohibited us from actually interfering with anything in the Eastern Hemisphere, but we needed to trade. So what we did was he annexed Hawaii, and that was a staging point to enter us then into Eastern Asia. And that's why we held on to the Philippines, which was a little insurrection in the Philippines that we actually calmed down, and then they became our foothold, so to speak, in Southeast Asia. Now, McKinley then in 1901 ran again for the second term of presidency, in 1900s, excuse me, and he was successful. He ran against Williams Jennings Bryan. They supported the same issues, and then again William McKinley, because he was loved by the people, was elected again in 1900s. Well, unfortunately, his second term of presidency was cut short, and unfortunately, William McKinley was assassinated. But before this, he was advised not to go to the American Exposition. Well, this Pan-American Exposition was actually a whole expose on electricity. And his advisors warned him not to go. McKinley insisted because he was the man of the people. So he went and conducted a speech on September 5th. He gave an address on what his foreign policy was, because at that time we really did not have any foreign policy because of the Monroe Doctrine as well. Well, however, on September 6th, he was shaking hands in the Temple of Music in Buffalo, New York, and unfortunately, an anarchist by the name of Leon Czolgosz is the one who assassinated him. He accidentally shot him twice. First, the bullet either ricocheted off of a button or his collarbone, but the second one was lodged within his abdomen. And I'll give you the size of William McKinley. He was about 5'7" with a 52-inch girth. So he was a pretty large gentleman. And they were afraid of digging around because that's what killed Garfield. So he was immediately then rushed on the infirmary on the grounds in Buffalo, but ironically enough, there was no electricity in the infirmary. It's the whole expose on electricity, but there's no electricity in the infirmary. And they had the first x-ray machine on the grounds, but they were afraid of using it because they didn't know how to. So there's a bunch of ironies in his death, and unfortunately he did show signs of recovering, but unfortunately this is a sign effect of gangrene. And on September 14th, 1901, at the age of 58, he happened to die. But to show the caliber of William McKinley, when he was shot, and his Secret Service immediately jumped on Leon Czolgosz, he told them to take it easy on him, and he looked to his advisor and informed him. He's like, please be careful in how you inform my wife on what happened. So even up to when the moment he was shot, he was a very kind individual. Well, now in his second term of presidency, his vice president was Teddy Roosevelt. Now, they were completely opposites. McKinley was very refined, a very reserved individual, and Teddy Roosevelt was a rough rider, very charismatic. Always had his nose in business, and he wanted to settle out all corruption. And it was said that Teddy Roosevelt would have never made president if it wasn't for McKinley being assassinated, and he actually succeeded him as president because the people just thought he was a cowboy. This is according to multiple historians. But unfortunately, this is what led to the progressive era, to Teddy Roosevelt, which led to what we have today. Now, the importance of William McKinley is he's overshadowed by Teddy Roosevelt, but if it wasn't for McKinley paving the foundation for the American dominance and a capitalism in which we are so predominant today, we wouldn't be where we are. And it's sad to think that that he is overshadowed by Teddy Roosevelt and other presidents in the time when if it wasn't for William McKinley, we would not be the dominant superpower that we are today. It might be a little bit different. But that is a completely different story and a different topic. I would like to thank you for all your time, and I would like to thank my audience as well.